challenge, and the challenge I'm going to be doing today is going to be called level 10. It says integrity without knowledge is weak, and and knowledge without integrity is dangerous and dreadful. So we click on the URL, we're redirected to Websec level 10, the page. Awesome file downloader. Here we have a cool file downloader. It allows you to download arbitrary files, even flag.php, as long as it's a legit request. Thanks to an anonymous contributor for this challenge. So we have index.php and then we have a secret hash. So if you try get, it returns the get request of the whole thing, and we can see the source code right here. So what's this challenge? What's the challenge to this problem? Can we just literally just input flag.php and get the thing? So if you try get, we said permissions denied. Why is that? Because if we check again, if we look for control F, permission denied, is because we see show source of the file has to be, I guess, true for the most part. Yeah. Okay. So if request is equal to hash, and we check right here, request is whatever we input inside the hash, and file is the file is the file thing right here. So what is happening for the most part? So for this challenge, we had to find a way to be able to get the hash matching to the file hash of flag.php. But we wouldn't be able to do that because we don't know what's inside the content of flag.php, and also I think it's like there's like an extra flag, like a salt value to it. So how do we solve this challenge? So if you guys don't know, MD5 is basically breakable. Why is that? Because there's something called MD5 collisions. So what's MD5 collision? What's MD5 collision? So with MD5 collisions, it's basically when two programs that are completely different, they're able to have the same MD5 hashes, and hashes are supposed to be unique for the most part. So that's what we're going to be doing for this challenge. But how are we going to do it? Because how do we, I guess, for the most part, be able to figure it out? Because with MD5, and then there's a bunch of things that this thing is vulnerable for. MD5, that's one of them. That's one of it. And then also we could import the hash, our hash file. So we could also insert a hash. And then also, if you see right here, if request is equal to hash, so let's say our request, which is whatever we input for the hash value, which is this value right here, has to equal to the hash value which it generates. So what we can do, if we go to PHP sandbox, you see right here, echo, what if we input 0 right here? 0 is basically the hash value that we're going to input, and this right here is basically a hash. This doesn't have to be, this could be any hash we want. So I'll put this as a comment. So this could be any hash, but what if we manage to get a hash that starts with 0? So basically what we want is basically a number at the beginning to start with 0, because if we press this echo 0 equal this part, when we execute it, we get a 1. Now what's 1? 1 is basically, what is 1? True or false? So in programming, values of true is considered to value as 1. So that's one thing too to consider, is because if we insert this value right here as 0, secret hash as 0, then all we need to do basically is find a way to generate a flag.php file to be equal to generate a 0. That's all. And if you check right here, we also have control whatever we put in as a file. So what if we generate a flag.php name that is going to be equal to 0? So how do we do that? Because the next thing that happens, if this happens to be true, we have to show the source of the file, which is whatever we input. So what can we change that always going to make it valid? So if you guys don't know what show source does, is a function in PHP which is used to return a file with the PHP syntax highlighted. So it basically returns the values of, it returns the code as a string. That's basically all it does. So it prints out the code, which is doing right here. So what I'm basically trying to say is that if we go insert a flag.php file and generate a file name that's gonna equal, and if this MD5 hash that right here, it generates if it generates a hash at the beginning that starts with 0, and we have the secret hash right here equal to 0, that means that we passed this challenge. But we have to find a way to generate a file name. So how do we do this? And also the generate file name has to equal to flag.php because that's requesting to show source. Well, one thing if you didn't know what show source is, that no matter what, if we keep on doing dot slash and keep on adding slashes at the end of it, it's always going to be the same thing. So if you do something like this and we press enter, it's always going to be the same thing. Nothing's going to happen. Reason being is that this is always going to be valid. This is always going to print out flag.php even if we add the dot. So we could keep on adding slashes and it's going to, in reality, it's always going to print out flag.php. So that's basically what I did, or what I did to write the script. So if I go on iTerm, and if you check right here, I have it right here, and I'll just run it right now. Oh, you know what? Could I do tmux? Hopefully I remember my tmux commands. Yes. So okay, so we have tmux up. So if I cat answer.py, and then if I command I forgot how to do a new window. New window in tmux, control BC. So control BC. So then I have that control BP. Okay. So I have my tmux section up. So what I'm gonna do is just run my Python code and then explain what's happening. Python 3 answer.py. So we see right here. So if we cat answer.py, we see that we have the URL, which is the level 10 challenge, and then we have the string, which is flag.php, and the content type is just whatever right here. Now we're gonna try a large value set. We're gonna assume 1,000. So we're passing in data. F is the string, which is for the most part where we're gonna place our file, which is the flag.php, and then we have hash, which is gonna be set as 0, because if we check right there, we could set our hash file. Now this string is being passed inside the MD5 function inside the PHP program, and it's being generated as a MD5 hash, and then we print the data so we see where we're at, and then we send a request, and if it says permissions denied, which is what we were getting beforehand. So if we go back to our previous one, if we press this in, we get permissions denied. So if we get permission denied, that means that initial flag.php didn't work at the beginning. So what do we do after? Well, what we do after, if we get permission denied, then that means we print out fail, and then after that we add another /. Now we keep on adding // every time until we don't get permission denied, and it will tell us what it prints out. So if we go back, control BP, we see like so many. We already have like a bunch of like // being placed, and it keeps on increasing because at the end of the day, nothing's gonna, all these // it keeps generating a new MD5 hash in the background, but we want it to start with 0, so it takes a while for it so it could reach a 0. I think when I was testing it out, it did it all the way to like 800 or something, but that's something I still had to look into it. But yeah, that's what it was doing it for the most part. So now we're just waiting for this to like for the most part just like change in the background, because right now it's not passing it because the hash at the beginning is probably not starting off with 0, because that's all we need. Because if we go back to our if I minimize this, all it needs to be is just equal to 0. Because if I just change this to like 111e 1e 2, something like that, something completely different. Oh, I guess hash has to be like 2. Oh, that's weird. 0e2 3. See, look, the hash at the beginning just has to equal to that one value. It just has to equal to that at the beginning. So that's basically all we're trying to do. We're just trying to generate a hash that starts with a 0. So even if I change this to I think a 3, it shouldn't affect it. We should still print out 1. Yeah. So it doesn't matter. All we want is just this hash just to start with 0. And so far it's not happening. It's gonna take a while. Like I said before, I think it does it like at 800 that we could get our flag. So we just wait right here and like wait for this to completely be done with the request. So we could like see at what number or how many forward slashes is gonna take for there to be some kind of collision for us to pass this challenge for the most part. And like I said before, it takes a while because when I was testing this out, it took a while. It took at like 800 something. We're barely at 600 right now. So yeah, and this is how it is for most of these challenges. And yeah, so I don't like. There's still like a lot of things to be done, but yeah, it's a pretty cool challenge for the most part. But let's see, we're still waiting for it. We're still waiting for this. Um, we're still waiting to see like what's happening for the most part, and see where things could go. So like 777, it still hasn't found a collision yet. But let's see right here. 700, 800, yeah, we're almost there. And then once it prints it out, we're just gonna see, I guess, the flag being there, unless I touched the code by accident and just messed it up completely. But for the most part, uh we should just wait. Oh, I think we're about to reach it. I think it's like 890 or 880. 80. And we got something. It was at 881, I think. And then we see right here, we could grab for the flag. Allows you to download. Oh my god, it's gonna take a while. My eyesight's so bad. And then we have right here Websec. Los typing systems are super great, aren't them? And then if we just grab this right here and then submit it, we should get the points needed to I guess pass this challenge. So if we go back right here, submit it, then press enter, validate, and we got it. Good for you. What about adding a write-up for it? But yeah, that's about it for this challenge. Pretty cool challenge for the most part, like having your thoughts about like MD5 collision. So pretty cool challenge. And yeah, hopefully I see you guys in the next one. And that's about it. Peace.